Is this Donica Knight?
Yes, this is she.
How are you doing?
Hey, is this Bay?
That's me. I was going through reading your bio and looking over things and all, and I'm like, this girl is working a lot, and I'm just tired reading the bio.
Okay.
Now, like, when I see you've done, like, over 350 shows, that's a lot of shows.
Yeah, it is a lot of shows. I work a lot. I decided this is what I wanted to do, and when I make a decision, I go all at it, and I do the best that I can, and that led to doing, like, 350 shows. Plus, sometimes more than one show a day. But
oh, really?
a lot of times, sometimes. But mainly I'll do anywhere from a 30-minute to a 4-hour set.
4-hour
in those
set?
shows. Yeah, I do, but we'll have, like, different breaks. It'll be 3 different sets for a total of 4 hours for that particular show.
Wow.
But that's
like a marathon.
That's on. I know. That is a very rare occasions. I've kind of, that was when I first started. I ended up having the really long shows, and as I've been going, I've been able to narrow them down, and they're anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, with breaks in between, depending on how long the show is.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing this for 5 years. I've always sang since I was a little bitty girl, but going after singing as a profession, I've been doing this for 5 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
So what made you finally, like, when you made that decision to go full force for this? I mean, that had to be a pretty scary jump for you.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it was terrifying. I was in college at Auburn, and the normal thing where I come from is you go to high school, and either you get married out of high school and go to college, or either you go straight to college, and then you go there till you get your master's or your degree, and then you go do a normal. And when I say normal, I'm doing my little 2-finger quotations. Go do a normal job. And so I was doing that process, and I went to Auburn, and I was there for 2 years, and I was studying exercise science and special education, nothing to do with music. But I knew when I was a child that my passion was singing, and I always wanted to be a singer, and that's what I wanted to be. But as I got older, I never really I didn't consider going after it as a profession. And it called me. I was helping at nursing homes and helping the residents at the nursing homes with their morning exercises. And after I did that, I would sing to them for hours, and that helps them spiritually, emotionally, and as just their spirits was. It helps them when I sang to them. Same when I helped at special needs camps. I would be helping them with what I was studying with, which was their daily routines. And we would do like a karaoke night, and what helped them was when I performed and sang to them. And it just hit me that I was studying something when what really helps and how my name means to give, and so I like to give to people, and how I give best is through song and through voice. And so I said, well, by golly, I have been called to sing, and that's what I got to do. And so I called my mama, and I called my daddy when I was up at Auburn, and I was crying on the telephone, and I was like, I know that you want me to go to school and to get my degree, and I want to do that. But I know that I'm being called to sing. And would it hurt your feelings if that's what I do? Because if you don't support that, then I'm going to have to figure out what I need to do. Because I know I'm being called to sing, but if you don't support that, then that's going to affect me and my decision. And they said, baby girl, if you're being called to sing, and they were so sweet and helpful that they said, if that's what you want to do, we want you to do what you believe in and what you want to do. So
wow.
Come on and let's figure this out. And then 2 weeks later, I was in my first band. And it was a cover band. And it was an 80s cover band. And I didn't even, because I didn't know what, I just knew I was being called to sing. And so my first band was this little band called the M80s. Well, I guess it wasn't little, it was 6-piece. And we were booked on the weekends. And 2 months later, a bigger band picked me up that had a bigger opportunities. I guess it wasn't a bigger band because that was only a 4-piece band. But it allowed me to grow more as a performer, and it offered different age ranges of the audience that I'd be performing for. Because with the 80s band, we played for a lot of people that like 80s music, which I love singing for an infant that's just being born, and I love going to the nursing homes. So I love singing for broad age ranges, and that's what this other band allowed me to do. And I got to help make business decisions. So I joined that one. And geez Louise, we were booked like 4 nights a week, and it was great. It was great because that's when I started really learning how much I loved performing with a band, and how much I love to perform, and how much I love to be on the road. I love to be on the road. And then...
So it sounds like while you were doing all, like before you started getting into the cover bands and all, like when you were having this calling, like you never like actually performed live or anything. You were just doing this for people in the nursing home and stuff.
Well, I performed, but not with band. I did church. And a lot of people start at church, and I would sing in the church band and all the church choirs. And in school, I did show choir, and I always did as much singing as I could. But I was heavily involved in sports. I was a big sports girl. But after I would go to school and go to all my sports, I would come home and sing for hours and hours until the mama would come knock on the door and say, Donica, quit singing, it's about time for you to go to bed. And that's what I would do. And I always did the plays in school and in high school and in elementary. I had my first solo in first grade, and I was the only kid out of 90 of us that had a solo. So there's something, if I was the one kid out of 90 of us and the only one that had a solo, that's just different. Because I was always the kid with the solo. Yeah, I did. To my music teacher, Miss Anna Baggett.
Now, also, too, like, as I'm looking over, like, with those 350 shows, I mean, you've performed with some of the biggest names in the music business, whether it's Leonard Skinner or Kenny Rogers, Hank Williams Jr., Styx, REO Speedwagon, Kid Rock, Skid Row.
Yeah, I know. Like, I've got, like, when you're saying that, I have, like, this little inner spirit of mine is going, like, it's so excited.
Now, when you're performing with all, like, cause, I mean, this is like different genres of bands. I mean, you're going from country to hard rock to classic rock to southern rock. Is it hard? Because your style seems to be more country and blues based. Is it hard to try to win some of these crowds over? Hello? There? Oh, I think I lost you.
Somebody that's a known artist or singer or entertainer, they sign the wall. And so I got to sign the wall and my name and the date. And then I've gotten to perform there again 2 other times, I believe.
Wow.
And so I made sure that I added the date beside my original brick. And it was by Kenny Rogers, just a few little bricks down. And as I was signing, I was just like, oh, my goodness, like, I can't believe that I'm signing this brick right by Kenny Rogers. I just performed for Kenny Rogers. This is my first original show. Wow. Kind of boggles my mind that was how it happened.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
I would be so blown away by that.
And the first time, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. To me, it's crazy. And here I am telling the story, and I'm sure I'm going to be 80 years old telling this story. The first time, Donica night, I could hear my little voice going now, that I ever heard myself and my song on the radio was on Sirius XM, The Highway.
Oh, really?
I was driving
Wow.
to a show, and I knew that they were spinning my song, and so I tuned in as I was driving to my show, and it came on, and I started freaking out. I was freaking out, and I have a levy foot, so I might have been speeding, and when I heard it, I was like freaking out so much, I just went and pulled off the side of the road and stopped. And there was a cop that was behind me and was wondering, why is this girl speeding? And then goes and pulls off the side of the road. So he followed me to his little lights on, came out, and I'm like sitting there in the car like freaking out. And I told him that this is me on the radio. And that's the first time I ever heard myself coming through the airwaves of the world.
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
through Sirius XM. And I pulled over, and a cop came and was like, what's going on? And I'm like, he let me go. I didn't get anything wrong. He was just wondering why I was going like a little bit too fast and then swerved immediately off the road and stopped.
Did you get to take a picture of the screen with your name on there?
I did. I was freaking out. I probably took more than one picture. I probably had like 3 or 4, and like just hitting my little iPhone button, snapping pictures.
Now, something else you got to do, which is pretty incredible, is you got to write and record a duet with, the guy's a legend, country legend, Ronnie Millsap.
Yes, I did. I did. And that was, I had only been in the studio a handful of times. I was learning how to record. And the person that I was learning through was Rob Galbraith, and he is Ronnie Millsap's producer. And Ronnie is a faithful guy, and Rob's been his producer from the get-go. So Rob has produced all these major hits that Ronnie Millsap had, and or has had. And I wish I could spit you out the number, and I don't want to be incorrect, but he is one of the top guys for having like the most #1 hits. He's one of those, he's got a lot. And I need to go find that fact out right now. I'm glad that you asked that question. But I was studying and learning how to use a microphone with Rob, who is hand-in-hand everyday guy for Ronnie Millsap, best friends, his producer. And he contacted Ronnie and said, hey, Ronnie, do you mind meeting my friend Donica? And so I went over to Ronnie Millsap's house, and he wanted to meet me and play on the songs that I was interested in recording with him and see if he would like it. And so there's a really funny story that goes along with me meeting Ronnie. And if you want me to just tell it, I will. But
absolutely.
Okay. But this isn't it, but I'm saying right now. But Ronnie recognizes people by just their voices. He met my voice one day, and he knows who you are by your footsteps. He's the most incredible man. He's so kind, and he's got a very distinctive voice, speaking voice when you talk to him. You know it's Ronnie, but he's so in tune with ears and sound that he can tell who you are sometimes by your footsteps. He didn't know me well enough to know my footsteps, but I think that's pretty incredible, and he has the most incredible story of why he got involved in music. It's just mind-boggling. He's such an incredible man, and I was very blessed to get to meet him and to see him several times and to work with him and to watch him, and just how he treats people is incredible. But so the funny story is, so I went over to Ronnie's house, and little old Donica was a nervous wreck and had to go tinkle. And so I go tinkle, and they have a pool, and they were working on their pool, and their water pressure was down. So after I tinkled, I could not flush the commode for the life of me, and I was freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I've just come over to Ronnie Millsap's house, and I've tinkled, and it's not flushing, so I had to leave it. Because it wasn't going to work because of the pool water pressure. And then after I get out of the bathroom, they're like, oh, well, you don't need to use that bathroom because it's connected to the pool water and it's not going to flush. I was like, well, it was an event. Meeting Ronnie and then not being able to flush that commode after I TT'd in it. So.
Oh.
Strange things happen.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Something else you mentioned was, going to college and being a sports girl.
Yeah.
You wrote a song for, I guess, your old school, was it, or?
Yeah, for Auburn University. I did. I love sports. In high school, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. And I was really big into softball and volleyball, but volleyball came later in life. Once I hit 7th grade, I started volleyball. Softball I started when I was way little, and easily could have gone to play at Auburn or whatever college, because I made my mind up that I love that sport, and I went all at it. But I decided that sports in college is not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to go and be a student, and I wanted to do the sorority route, and I wanted to go have a social life, because when you do sports, it's hard to be a student because you have a job being an athlete, and then that's your life, and that's a great life.
Right.
If that's what you decide that's what you want to do. And anywho, I went to Auburn, and so since I wasn't playing a sport, I was like heavily involved in going and cheering on the sports. I was a diamond doll where you got to cheer on the baseball team. And then I was an avid, still am, football fan, and Auburn won last night. Whoop, whoop, against Kentucky. But I would go with 2 of my sorority sisters, and we would be the first people in the student section gate to, once they opened the gates, to run and go grab your seats. And we were front row at like every game. It was without fail. We were by all the people with the paint, and we were like the only people that didn't paint up, but we were by the painted people, and we were like, woohoo! We wanted front row. And so you would get there, gates open like 3 hours before kickoff or something like that, and then you have to get there hours before the gates even open to get the seats that you want for the student section.
Right.
So we were front row. I loved football, and I loved going to all those games. And so when I left Auburn, I was like, that was one of the hardest decisions for me in my life was choosing to do music as a career, because I loved where I was at. I loved Auburn. I loved my friends. I loved my sorority. I loved what I was studying. But I knew I was called to do something else. So I followed that.
Right.
But it was a really hard decision for me. Because this music business is very hard. It's not easy. And that was just a tough decision for me to do because I loved Auburn. So when I decided to leave and pursue music, and it led to doing original music, I said I want to support my school and write a song about Auburn. So that's what I did. And fortunately, I wrote it with a guy named Doug Gaddard. Or not Doug Gaddard, Doug. Doug in Nashville. And he's written several big hits on the radio. And a guy named Blake Mevis, who I was working with at that time. And he wrote several songs on the radio as well. And I said, I really want to write this song for Auburn. I want to write a great song. And so being an Auburn student I knew exactly how our spirit was, and I knew what I wanted to say. And we put this song together and then took it to the university, and they just really loved it and supported it. And they played it at A-Day, and there was a YouTube video of that song that in 3 days it had 140,000 hits on it.
Wow.
In 3 days. It was right during A-Day and right afterwards. And nobody knew my name at all. And, well, not many people knew my name at all until that happened. And all of a sudden it's like an overnight thing. I was freaking out like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe there's 30,000 views. And then, like, I blinked my eyes. I'm like, there's 90. Ah! And because it was Auburn, you know that they have rivals like the University of Alabama. And so there was some Alabama haters. And so I learned real quick that you're going to have critiques on your song. And so you just got to learn that that's somebody's opinion. And so that's great. And so you respect their opinion, but your opinion is what matters. And it's important that other people have positive opinions as well. But it had to be a positive opinion to get 140,000 views in 3 days. And I was like freaking out, like, oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
But then Auburn, that was the year we won the national championship that I wrote that song. And they played it before every game at that stadium. And so I say it's the lucky charm. And they still play it. And then there's several radio stations that play my Auburn song, Great to Be, because it's great to be an Auburn Tiger.
That's awesome. That's great. So you have a new EP, which I guess you've been working on, called Can't Buy a Southern Girl?
I do. I have a brand new EP that was written and recorded in Los Angeles, California. And it's coming out in early January.
Okay. And you have a new video that just came out, I guess, a couple weeks ago.
It did.
For the single Love Ain't a Prize.
And that was my first, like, real deal video for Love Ain't a Prize. And this whole EP, I'm just excited about it because I've been working in the music business for a little bit of time now. And what I've come to learn about myself is that I wanted to be involved. And a lot of times I was put in a position where people were submitting songs to me, and I recorded those songs, and I did not have as much artist control. I didn't write a lot of songs that I was recording, but I did write the Auburn one, and that's one that, like, I'm super pumped about. And I just started realizing ones I'm excited about are the ones that I write. So this is the first record that I can say I wrote every song on this record. Oh, wow. And so Love Ain't a Prize, I was a co-writer on it, and I'm proud to say that. And I'm learned that I'm proud to say that.
That's great.
And this whole EP, Can't Buy a Southern Girl, it's mine, and it's my words, and it's how I feel about my life, and it's what I'm going through now, and what I want to say. And this Love Ain't a Prize it's it's so exciting to see your own work and see how people take on to it. And I've just been very blessed that people are liking it, and I love it. So that just makes me happy. And so whoever's listening, if you want to go look at Love Ain't a Prize, it's on YouTube and Vivo. And it's also on my Facebook and my website, www.donicaknight.com. And you spell that DONICAKNIGHT.com.
Nice. So,
okay.
Looking at the title of the EP, and then, you listen to the lyrics of the single, Love Ain't a Prize, I kept thinking to myself, I wonder if somebody tried buying Donica's love in the past.
Oh, well, what do you think?
I think so.
Well, then you're probably right.
How about that?
And I feel that there's several people that may have happened to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're closing down on the year 2015, which is beyond me how soon it's passed, how fast it's going by. What's the plan for you for the rest of the year now?
I can't believe it. I can't believe this year is over. It's about to be Halloween. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you because I got too excited about the year ending, and I shouldn't be excited about that. But I'm excited about 2016, so I guess, woo!
Yeah,
so what
it's going to be
question?
here in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your plans now for the rest of the year, getting ready for your big year in 2016?
Yeah. Well, the rest of this year I'm promoting Love Ain't a Prize, which I'm super stoked about. And then I'm also making another trip back to Los Angeles for some time to continue promoting my new record that's coming out in early January, and promoting the single Love Ain't a Prize. And I'm taking some select shows throughout the end of this year. And I may be shooting another music video for the next single. So I'm preparing for this single and just getting ready to launch this whole record that I'm so thrilled about. That's my plan for the rest of this year.
That's awesome. Now is like 2.5 months of anticipation building up for you.
It is. Every day is exciting, and there's just good news coming in the morning and at night. And I'm just excited that people are really liking Love Ain't a Prize, and I look forward to seeing. I've put it out there and see what happens with it. And I definitely know that I got to push things behind it, but it's really up to people and how they like a song to see where it goes.
Right. Now, this single, is it available now for people to buy?
Yeah, if you go to my website, www.donicaknight.com, it is for purchase on my website, and then November 1st, it becomes nationwide, global-wide on iTunes and a whole bunch of different other formats where you can purchase music. Mm-hmm. So it's fresh off the press. And so fresh that November 1st is when it's coming out on the iTunes and being distributed globally.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Big things ahead for you, Donica.
I hope so. I love what I do, and I always try to dream big, because why not? You're only hurting yourself if you don't dream as big as you can, because it's a dream. And maybe you can reach it.
This is true.
And I love performing, and I love performing on, like, putting on a huge performance. And then I love the intimate ones, because those are just as big as a huge performance. So my dream is to travel and to be able to have a big production show. So we'll see what lies ahead, but I believe that dreams can be reached through prayer and hard work.
Absolutely.
And a little luck. Yeah.
Well, you're not shy of work, so I mean, you know how to do that. So.
Well, thanks, Bay. You're not shy of work either. You're very intelligent, and I really enjoyed talking to you.
You too. This has been great.
Thanks.
Well,
yeah.
I hope we get to talk to you again next year after the EP comes
just
out.
Let me know.
And we'll keep promoting it for you.
We'll talk about all my new songs that I've been writing, and we can talk about another video. And I just love this video that I put out. It was the first time that I really had a connection with the director and got to put in my creative input and what I wanted. And he listened to me and what I wanted. And we were able to achieve that. And I wanted a live performance because I have performed live so many times that I wanted to show that I believe in what I'm singing, and because that's so important.
Right.
It's what I've learned to realize, and that I love to perform, and so we did a performance-based video, so you can kind of see how I look like live. And I used a band that was in the record, and that you may see live as well. And then I wanted to have a story base behind it. And Noel Maton was the guy that was the director, and he just did a fabulous job. And I got to give a shout-out to the producer, Jim Huff, as well, because the project would not be what it is if it wasn't for Jim. And then the video with Noel. And then I'm excited about this new EP and where it's going to go.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, let's put out there again, before I let you go, where everybody can find you and get the single and the EP when it comes out and keep track of you.
Yeah. Well, if you go to any of the social media outlets, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube and Vivo. And then if you want to make it easier and go to my website, www.donicanight.com, and that's DONICAKNIGHT. I always say you spell my name like Monica with a D, or Danica Patrick with an O.
There you go.
My father's name is Don, so that's where my name came from, Donica. But I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, my website, and you can find me on iTunes as well, and it's purchased on my website as well too.
Awesome. Donica, this has been great. I want to thank you for spending some time with us, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the EP.
Thank you, Bay. I can't wait to talk to you again about it. And I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I hope everybody listening rock and roll, and I hope y'all have a great day as well.
Awesome. Donica, thank you so much, and we'll be talking soon.
All right. Thank you, Bay.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.